Put your hands together for Jin Chang. 来，那个。
Hello. Hello. Sorry. Let's welcome our distinctive guest, Sandy Cho, and our president of UCA, Happy, and vice chair of UCA Community Foundation, Edward Lee. Yeah, our honorable Congressman Ted Lieu, because he has another event, so he has to leave pretty soon. So let's welcome him to give a speech. Ted? Sorry, that's we kind of changed the program a little bit. Yeah, so to accompany Ted's. Thank you.
All right. 大家好，我是刘英平，国会议员，谢谢你请我来。So I'm Congressman Ted Lieu. Thank you so much for inviting me here. And I was at the first inaugural when UCA started, and wanted to thank all of you for growing this amazing organization, and thank my friend Haipei and others like Sandy, and so many of you who have worked so hard. And I see my friend Lisa Zhou here as well, and just so honored that you would call me to speak. And I want to talk about two things. The first is, well, I'll put it this way. There's both good news and bad news when it comes to the Asian Pacific American community. So I'm going to start with the bad news first. As all of you know, there's been a shocking rise in hate crimes against people that look like you and me. Over 330% coming out of the pandemic. And now, with the increased rhetoric against China, there are now accusations of disloyalty among people that look like you and me. Congresswoman Judy Chu was recently accused of being disloyal to the United States by a Republican member in Texas. And for those of us in the community, this should not be surprising. America is an amazing, exceptional country. It's one reason I joined the US Air Force and served on active duty. But we have had our problems with race. And throughout our history, there's been discrimination against Asians. Starting very early on with the whole yellow peril hysteria, followed by the Chinese Exclusion Act, followed by the massacre of Chinese immigrants in Los Angeles, followed by their internment of Japanese Americans, followed by the murder of Vincent Chen, followed by now this pandemic with hate crimes increasing against Asian Americans. Now is a very dangerous time for you and your children and your family. Now the good news is we are fighting back. So in Congress, we passed the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act on a bipartisan basis in the House and the Senate, signed by President Biden. That is going to give more resources to state and federal governments to fight back against hate crimes against Asian Americans and other minorities. There's also been demonstrations across America to fight back against hate crimes. There's organizations like UCA and other nonprofits that are fighting back. And in Congress, we now have the highest number of members of Congress of Asian, American, Pacific Islander, or Native Hawaiian descent in US history. If all of this had been happening during World War II, I don't know if Japanese Americans would have been interned. Now there is political power among this community, and we're seeing that this community is growing in size. Since 2000, Asian Pacific Americans have more than doubled and growing in places not just in California and New York, but also swing states like Nevada and Georgia, where Asian Americans can make the margin of victory in elections. And now you see both political parties reaching out to Asian Americans in a way that they have not done so before. So look forward to working with all of you as we fight back against xenophobia, racism, and discrimination against people that look like you and me, and look forward to working with you to make America an even better place to live, work, and play. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ted. You kind of set up a tone for us for this fireside chat. We're here today. We wanted to talk about, in today's environment, what can we do to give back to not only to our community, but to empower our community and increase our community's influence in this mainstream society. So we have a role model here. It's my role model. I guess a lot of people agree with me too. It's Sandy. Sandy has been very humble, but he has done a lot of work to the community. I think he's more popular or more well-known as a very successful venture capitalist and angel investor. But not many people really know his involvement in the community. So Sandy, I just wanted to ask you this question. You have been so successful in business, in investment, as an angel investor. That everybody know that you're probably one of the most well-known angel investors in the Asian American community, and maybe in the whole United States, right? But why you have tried to do this community work, and what's kind of really motivated you?
Well, this is really talking about flashing my life in front of everyone. So I'm actually very much behind the scenes person. And then let me introduce about myself, and then the danger is you give me the mic and then nobody else have time to talk.
No, I will stop you.
All right. And basically it's just that I was born in Shanghai, and then I spent my primary education time in Hong Kong. And then I have my secondary school in Vietnam. And I came to USA for college. And after that, I actually went back to Vietnam. And then in 1975, then South Vietnam War, I came to the United States again. Then I was in business consulting. And later on, that I started my own company in high technology. And then because my high school buddy, he said he had a lot of invention. I said, who are we going after? And then with two of us, and then raised a little bit of money. And then we go after Intel, which is the wrong person to fight with. So, but somehow, we survived with, we changed our product line. And then by 1980s, I get into venture capital investments. But somehow, I feel US is too slow. I went to Taiwan. And then after that, I start to invest in United States again by living in Hong Kong for 10 years. And then in the year 2000, when you come back, and people say, you come back just right time. This is called the internet time. I said, what is internet time? Internet time is that currency no longer counted by money, is counted by eyeball. And then they say, what is eyeball? Eyeball is a currency. If it's sticky, then your eyeball worth a lot of money. That's internet time. And then I said, gee, where do I play? And then they say, you invest in the company, give them a check, and then if they pick your check, you win the lottery. That was in 1999. And then so I gave them the checks, and then in the middle of 2000, the whole .com crashed. And then that is something that sometimes in business, you jump in the pool and realizing that you don't know how to swim, that you start to learn how to swim. And then in the water, it's not really calm water. It's actually, there's alligator inside, there's shark inside. And then you fight off the shark and alligator, and then you learn your lesson. But somehow, my feeling of angel investment is really a partnership. The partnership is this: you isolated the people you think you can help, and then you become a family, you become a partner, and then I no longer felt that it is an investment, it's rather than you're helping each other in the family. So therefore, I don't qualify myself as an investor, but rather an associate with a family and hopefully develop long-term friendship. So therefore, in such a case, I don't consider that. And then fortunately, I joined Acorn Campus Venture Fund, every one of them having exactly the same philosophy. And then they're all very successful. And I felt it's a really, really very important that you learn your lessons in business and you want to share. And then you, especially on the area that you have encountered difficulties and obstacles, and then you went through a lot of trial and tribulations, then in such case you can help people to avoid the pitfalls. So I think this collaboration is very important because in my life, I felt that I'm a lot of times very eager, take a lot of risks, and restless, and then not very thoughtful. But I was surrounded by a lot of friends. They become my angel. So therefore, sometimes when I fall, they win to help me to not to fall too hard. So it's the same way of, that's my mentor, David San. He did that all the time to me, that I feel that it is very important that I do the same to the younger generations, that I think we help each other. And then I was very lucky that even though our partnership, I did most of the return for the partnership, we only invested each time less than $1 million per case, sometimes $500,000. But on the average, our portfolio company, because they developed to be very resourceful, on the average, our portfolio company, each one of them was able to raise more than $100 million through later round financing and end up the IPO value, the merger value, and then the cash out value exceeded $20 billion. So therefore, for that, I'm very proud of it. But somehow it's this: why you want to accumulate assets? Then you ask me the question about commitment. I think it's this: if you have a lot of money, is it in the bank? The bank determines what the money should be. It does not belong to you. You have no control of that money. If you somehow do nothing about the asset you produced, then what's the use of it? Because you just put it in, if you put it in the in stock, the company that you own do not really ask you the priority of why those assets should be used. So therefore, why you need the money? So therefore, I say, okay, when you die, you have the money for your descendants. But somehow, the time between you get the money to the time you die, the money is idled. So therefore, there's nothing. So what is your wealth? I believe the wealth is the benefit of your future generation, the benefit of the society. So therefore, basically, the one thing that your asset is useful is you put in use as soon as possible, so to pave the road for your next generation. The first, you pave the road for your own ethnic people. Somebody have your own background. You help out your own family. And then you want the whole community. And then I'm so fortunate in this country. I receive a lot of benefit, education, and also I believe the value of the United States. So therefore, you want to pave the road for them. So this is so important that you do not want your assets accumulated idle. You want to pave the road for your future generation because this country actually need our contribution. And I think it's very important because we belong to very characteristic is this. This country is very basically from the past few hundred years. First generation, motivation. Second generation, look at the hardware. Third generation can be influenced. They are the most important. And then we belong to that group. And I feel that I think the investment in the future is most important. This is why we want to utilize all our assets as soon as possible rather than make it idle. This is your question, I think.
Yeah, very good. Sandy, I just get to know you. But by reading your story and listen what Jane has told me, I think you're my inspiration and you are my role model. You have lived a rich and fruitful life. You were a successful entrepreneur. Then you help other entrepreneurs to make their dream come true. After amassing a great deal amount of money, you start to give back to the community. And that's admirable. So my question is, there are so many places you can donate your money, university, a library, or any other charities. What's the motivation, what's the trigger point for you to support organizations like UCA or AAPI?
Let me add a little bit color to this question. Edward himself is a very successful entrepreneur and also an angel investor. So I think his question is very relevant, especially for people like him. When we accumulate wealth, we can donate money to anywhere we like. So why we wanted to focus on our own community?
Well, Edward, we have a conversation before we get on the stage, and I told Edward, I'm not a good model of an investor. It's because I stick around with all the people that I associate with. So therefore, in my life, I almost did not walk away from any investment. So I stick around forever for them. So this is almost like a family. So this is not I would not suggest using that as an investment model. But however, talking about philanthropy, I think after I came back, I always want to do something meaningful. I donate some money back to UC Berkeley, and then I started a program, multidisciplinary, between different areas to advancement of Chinese Americans' culture and how to integrate. And that is academic. There are plenty of people doing that. So therefore, I just recently watched on 60 Minutes for Foundation, their CEO I would say, the money have to be in the right place, not going to the rich and enrich the rich, but rather to the area of needy. Then I get into the area of the philanthropy of the needy. I was the president of Xinjiang Education Foundation for 7 years in the early 2000s. Then I felt that after 7 years, but I switched away from it. what Xinjiang Education Foundation is go to the poorest area in China, and then 20 years ago, they do not have money to rebuild the house, the schoolyard, and then no furniture whatsoever will help the poor. But after so many years, I would say the social impact is to the mass. That is too slow to change, and too many of them. Basically, you don't feed just everybody. I think the effort I switch around is that you help the people who can influence, help the leaders. When you have a lot of leaders, they will lead the people who are difficult out of their situation. So therefore, I switch complete around. I would say it is you just feed the people with compassion, the people with desire have a lot of social responsibility in their blood, and then give them, empower them, and then give them resources. And then if you develop 10,000 poor people in the poor area do not have resources, only a few of them will be leader. You spend all resources to the leader who have compassion, then I think then you can change the world because it have to be in the right place. Then I think it is the empowerment really create new energy and new power. And then I think the importance is you have to collaborate. If you have all the leaders collaborate with each other, the combined efforts for all those leaders can make changes. So therefore, every time when I meet up with Ted, when he first got elected, I met with Jay and then met with Judy when she was first elected. I told all of them, every time I told all of them, we need you. Because independently, they can be very successful without stepping out to get elected. When they come out, first, the dedication make them not to pursue area of other power, business power, accumulation of wealth and everything. They give up all that. But that is small. The thing is that when you come out, you lose your privacy. You will be ridiculed by people. People will attack you. And then also I admire, they all, when I was supporting Matt Fong 30 years ago, I really tried to help him out into an area of folklore, develop a story, and voice training, everything. Because all of you just need that kind of skill set to empower yourself so that you can empower the whole community. So therefore, the need for advancement, and then also for, like Ted, you sacrifice so much. I mean, you have to fly between Washington and California so often, and then all those sacrifices. I think these kind of leaders that I think we should support, because the money, otherwise you put forever for the future, you better, it's just so little compared to what they sacrifice. So therefore, basically, I would say you want to enhance the leadership, you want to have them to work together, and at the same time, we want to develop our future generation by giving them to have the awareness to see the influence that they can actually change. So we're so fortunate that during the last 20 years, I supported Vision America and the internship program, and UCA have the internship program, and the young people were dedicated at an early age and dedicated into it. I think There's a lot of work to be done, and then put it this way. Put it in the bank, it belongs to the bank. Put it aside, it's too late. I think everybody, especially this fundraising, be generous, because we are building the future of Asian American, the future of our youth, the future of the whole United States, because we are the first generation, second generation, third generation that really can contribute to this world. We know how to be competitive, and I think the country really depends on Asian American, especially Chinese American. And one more thing about, it depends on Southern California. The reason why is this, let me tell you why. Southern California, it's almost 30% of all Chinese Americans, 1.5 million people. Southern California, all the Asian add together, is probably about 15 to 20% of all United States. We have to unite it all together. Asian American United States, I think when I first come to the United States, it's about 2 million. In 2080, it's 3.5 million. And then it grow and grow. I think 2060 is 3.5 million. And then for the last few years, every year, Asian American increased by 500,000 to 600,000. And then in about 37 years from now, Asian America will be the third largest ethnic group. Will be more than all the black add together. And I believe last year, Ted told me that Asian American in 2050 will be the largest immigrant population. It's an immigrant that will make America great, and Asian Americans, Chinese is most numerous, most motivated, and then we should take that leadership to make America great.
All right.
Hi, Pei, you have a question here?
Well, I'm going to take advantage of myself being here. I want to stand up and want to thank the UCA Community Fund under Jane's leadership. Can we give applause to who is on the UCA Community Leadership Fund? The staff, the full board member, and the volunteers. Can we give them a come on, stand up, please.
Yeah, stand
I know
up.
Charles is there.
Yeah, UCA Community Fund.
Who else is that?
Board of
Who has been
Trustees.
volunteers? And Gary
Our review committee
Wen
members.
Chen. Come on.
Grand review
Who
committee members.
else is here?
Executive
We have a
committee
few more
members.
seamen there.
Volunteers.
Where are the volunteers? Thank you.
Standing up. They are busy working.
Okay, thank you so very much. And really thanks to Jing for, this is his brainchild, and we see it come to beautiful fruition. And thanks, Sophia, for opening up this center. I want to say a few words quickly. As a direct beneficiary of Sandy's generosity, UCA is where it is today. I want to throw a challenge to everybody here, that many of you are more rich than Sandy and his other partners with Acorn. When they were 20, even 30 years ago, they have decided they want to work as a group, they want to engage in our politics. They set up with a PAC. They did a lot of crazy things 30 years ago. Not now, not because after they made the money. So this is something I think I want to throw this as a challenge to those of you here, especially from the mainland China. I think we need to think, we always think, oh, those are from Taiwan, Hong Kong. They made a lot of money and then they don't know how to spend money and then they're going to give some money to nonprofit. That's not the case. The case is Sandy would often, can I disclose this? I don't know. Sandy would even go bankrupt doing social investing, right? How many of you will go bankrupt doing social investing? I'm pretty sure Sandy is the only one I know of. No. I'm not saying there are many of us are very generous here. I see many of our board members of 美中工商会 here, our leader. Many of you are here, Lisa and Novelle. I just can't count so many of you. I want to really thank you for this. But I want to take this away for a quick second. Of everybody here today, how many of you are aware that in the South mostly, right now, many state legislatures are trying to pass new alien land laws or new Chinese Exclusion Act. How many of you knows about this? Can you raise your hand if you know about this? In the southern states across the country, I don't see many of you don't even know about this, right? More than 12 states have introduced law to restrict or ban non-citizen Chinese Americans along with many others. This is the time to organize. This is a time to give a little bit of yours to UCA Community Fund and to many other worthy projects and to our worthy politicians, elected officials. I think we all need to do more. This is the dawning of a new Chinese American civil rights movement. We had a China Initiative. We had, I couldn't even think of it. There's so many things happened in the last decade. The most recent attack, the anti-Asian hate, China Initiative. There are now this select committee on China. There's now the latest wave after wave of state legislatures trying to pass a law to ban us. You would think this is in a history now, in a history book. It's coming back. It's coming back across the country. I can tell you, I don't want to make everybody leaving here feel very sad, but the worst is yet to come. And we have no other option but to organize and mobilize for our next generation and for ourselves. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Happy. So actually, I have a question. So what's your criteria? You supported so many of the emerging political leaders in your community, right? You also support civic organizations like UCA. So what's your criteria? Why you support them? How do you select these organizations or individuals to support?
As a matter of fact, I don't have a plan. So, but however, it is the hopefulness. I think there's a certain eagerness and then certain urgency. I would say it takes a while for young people. They first graduated and they first they will form a family and then make provision for the family. It's very important. But after they become comfortable, I think this is time for you to come out and support each other. And that is the tradition. But somehow we have to start with young people. The commitment have to start early because you can always defer your commitment because, I want to make myself more secure. And then after that, maybe even more secure. So that is the thing that the apathy kills. I think the active involvement as early as possible is very important to all. So therefore, when you ask me, do I have a plan? Why? Then I felt that there are several things. See, I started Civil Leadership USA. Is exactly, I won't say I want to help the leaders and then give them momentum. So therefore, during the time, there will be rising up a lot of leaders. There are a lot of commitment within UCA. The board members is something like 20 of them. Each one is really impressive of their commitment. And each chapter will have a lot of people. And then I would say, in my opinion, is this. empower and give a lot of independence to each chapter. And so each chapter would take the leadership. But somehow we need to support each other. So therefore, basically, my agenda from my top down, let me tell you my priority. Number one is to give leader a platform. UCA, across the whole nation, will have so many platforms, and each platform will create dozens and even hundreds of leaders. So therefore, every place, I would say, if that is the one that will attract 5 million people, that is so important. That's the most important of all. And then the second thing is just that I spent a lot of time with SB Wu. He came to visit me. I came to visit him. But somehow, I felt that SB is so intelligent, and so I learned so much from him, but somehow he would not let go. Important thing, you have to let go, and then you can do unification. So therefore, this is why I supported the AAUC, and they have right now about 50 different organizations. Their board director have 3 Indian, 3 Chinese, 1 Korean, 1 from Indonesia, and Thailand, and Philippines. I think 5 million is not big enough. But in 2060, we'll have 47 million Asian Americans. That is big enough, but we need to unite. So therefore, when you talk about, I will talk about develop leaders, develop unity, and then another thing is just to start leadership from a young age, internship. What internship I suggest in all this area, so many cities. I was so amazed coming down from Burbank to LA and Chinatown to Alhambra to Monterey Park, St. Gabriel, El Monte, Acacia, all the way to here, to Covina, West Covina, and all the way to Diamond Bar. Every place, we should develop local entity. So when all the entities are united together, I would say Asian American win almost every race if we are united. So, so the unity is important, and then we need youth to come up early enough, so therefore they have a long runway. I certainly believe, in my opinion, I just believe Ted will be in Congress forever. And then if Ted is in Congress forever, people know that there's no way that he can be unseated. That is the sign to be the candidate to be the Speaker of the House. I certainly believe that, because that leadership is important. I think the Chinese Americans, and I would say not only him, and then we have a good bench. Because Grace Monk in New York, I'm pretty sure she'll get re-elected every time. And then this kind of pipeline, we want to build continual pipeline for that. And in such a case, this country, 2 things are more important, and that the general public do not work hard for it. One is healthcare, take care of old people. And Chinese Americans, Asian Americans are really in forefront of that. And the second thing is about the new technology. AI, software, robotic, and all those things, high tech, is really competitive in the world. The rest of the population are not so keen, but Asian Americans are in the forefront. In order to be competitive in the future, Asian Americans will lead this country, and then we must do things positively. We involve in the major society, and then we want to work to the point that it's not negative propaganda, but positive propaganda. They look up to us. And then we need to work hard. We not only need to interface with each other, we need to go to the major society and be a contributor, and then be a role model to a bright future United States, and it takes us to do it.
Well, thank you very much. We pretty much ran out of time now. And yeah, our honorable Congressman Ted, you wanted to come up stage. That's our artist tonight who performed for us. They wanted to take a photo with us. Yeah, can we ask our photo and also our artist to come to the stage to take a photo together?
While we're doing this, can we give Ted Lieu, Congressman, a round of warm applause for his amazing work at the U.S. Congress. Please thanks and support his campaign for re-election. Thank you.
Yeah, our artist, can you come to the stairs and taking a photo together with us? 所有的这个表演者啊，请上台跟我们拍一个照片。Any come upstairs? Who else? Artists or performers? Okay, thanks to our distinguished guests. Thank you very much, Ed. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. So we just heard so many inspirational stories about how by coming together, we can make a difference. So with all your help and support, we are firmly believing that the future will be glorious for the UCA Community Fund. Just like the Tang Dynasty, when China was the strongest country in the world, it's all because we had the most talented people in the world back then. Just like right now, we have all of you helping us. Just like the slogan for UCA Community Fund, small amounts, big difference. Big help. That's what we're gonna achieve. And with that grand wishing of our mind, Lucy Xie, our dancer of the night that you just saw the beautiful costume and also the full hair, is gonna bring us the traditional dance of Dunhuang Tang Dynasty. Let's go back to the glorious days with all of our care and love. Enjoy.